This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome back to Live Talk with Dr. B. Hill. Today we're going to continue with our guests from yesterday. So, Dr. B, take it away. Oh, let me remind people if they come on that they want to ask you a question, use the chat button up in the right hand corner. So, sorry, I forgot that.
Thank you so much. And yes, we would love to have a question or two from you guys. So please feel free to just go up to the right-hand corner and add your question in. We have Dr. Smith here with us today, and we have Travis. And I think both of them are hiding. There's Dr. Smith. And I know we have Travis here because I saw him just a little bit ago. There you are. Travis is traveling, and as usual, Dr. Smith's recording studio is always in his car because he has no internet at his house. So he has to drive every single day to town to be able to record. So there we go. So Travis just got finished painting a house, and he made it absolutely beautiful. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-story house, and he did it in just a couple of days. So anybody who wants to fly him out to your house, please feel free. He just loved the painting. Both he and his wife were busy on it, cleaning it and painting it. Anyway, so here we go. So we had left off, we had only got one part of a quote off of one of the articles that you've sent.
Actually, B, we
Chrissy?
didn't even get past the title.
Well, we were talking about the title,
Yeah.
which was very interesting. But the most interesting part about the title was the date. The date is what blew everybody away. My goodness, all this could have been avoided if someone would have just paid attention or done their homework and looked at what was out there that could help to keep this opioid crisis from happening.
B, I think your point is very well made, and I think what a lot of us, myself included, when we look at this gun, Gunne, that was the author of the article, which by the way, it's 1963, so it's not even a magazine article; it's a chapter in a book. But a lot of us, when we look at this 1963 article or chapter by Gunn, we look at it with a sense of missed opportunity that that the science was there even as far back as 1963. The science was there to at least warn us away from the opioid crisis. um, and where we were with this yesterday was it's just an incredible point in time that we're experiencing right here, because right here together in this one moment we have Travis with us, who was one of the first people in the history of the world to ever have their blood drawn for catecholamines while experiencing opioid withdrawal. Travis was a participant, a volunteer in our clinical trial. Part of our clinical trial was to go off all opioids and come into the office on day 3 while you were in withdrawal and have your blood evaluated. Specifically, what we were looking for were the catecholamines. The catecholamines are what the layperson would identify as adrenaline. Okay, we on the medical and science side, we use the term catecholamines. There are 3 catecholamines: norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine. And here we were in 2022 recruiting volunteers to have their blood drawn for catecholamines. And anytime you're doing a clinical trial, you always want to know what was the science that pushed you into this clinical trial. Why did you draw blood for catecholamines on humans in 2022? Okay, was that a lucky guess? No, it wasn't. Was there some prior science that aimed you in the direction of the catecholamines? And the answer is yes. There was prior science that gave us a clue that we should look at the catecholamine levels, the adrenaline levels in human beings, and this prior science is what you're looking at right here, and the year is 1963, and that means there was a 60-year gap between the scientific need to draw blood on humans while they were experiencing opioid withdrawal, and specifically draw blood for the catecholamines, the adrenalins, the very thing that Travis volunteered to do was called for scientifically in 1963. Travis, years before you were even born. That's how old this science is. Now, to the layperson may look at that and go, "Oh, well, maybe that's just the speed at which science works." And the answer there is no. That's not the speed at which science works. That's the speed at which science doesn't work. B, are you having trouble hearing me?
Yes, you're very quiet there.
You know what? I know what that is. Hang on. I did not turn off my Bluetooth.
Hi.
Let me
Welcome.
fix that.
Hey.
Let me fix that right now, B. My apologies.
Thank you.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, but very faint.
It's got to get better.
Travis, look who's joined us. Turn your camera
yeah,
sideways,
Samantha.
sweetheart.
Hey, Samantha.
Hey,
Can you turn your camera sideways, Samantha, so we can see you?
oh, well,
There you go. It's coming.
here we go.
Well, it's trying anyway. There you go.
There
Perfect.
we go. I'm on my phone today. We've had issues. I've got my, yeah, I'm not at home, so
no problem.
it's a little different.
Dr. Smith, your microphone is off. Your microphone's still off.
What about now?
Now it's on and we can actually hear you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, my phone, on the way here, on the way to the library, so I could participate in the podcast, I actually hit a deer pretty hard. First time I ever hit a deer in my life, and actually the phone had a little damage to it, believe it or not. But we're fixed and we're good now. Is that Samantha?
Yes.
Hey, Dr. Smith.
Samantha, always good to see you. Samantha, how well can you hear us today?
Not good again.
I'm outside, so I'm struggling a little bit, but it's okay. I can still hear you.
B, can you hear me okay?
You're muffled, but I can hear you, but it's not good.
Can y'all hear me?
What about you, Travis?
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello? Okay.
We can. B, I wonder if I should sign off and sign back on. You guys chat for a minute, and I'll be right back.
Might be a good idea. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Samantha, we really missed you.
I have missed being here. I've had a lot of issues going on.
I can see you're in the beautiful outdoors.
I'm in Tennessee. My son got put in the hospital last night, so.
Oh my God, is he okay?
Yeah, we've been struggling with him. He's been sick for a couple of weeks now, and they finally told him he had pneumonia. So we're getting things finally took care of now. So.
How old is he?
He's 10. He's autistic. So.
10 years old and has pneumonia. That's terrible.
Yeah. So he's really struggling.
God bless you, Samantha. We'll say prayers, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sorry to hear that, Sam.
Thanks.
Yeah, we were worried about you yesterday, me and Josh, so that's why I texted you yesterday.
And I also forget that y'all are on Eastern time, so I'm an hour ahead of you. So I forget that, and I always try to come on late.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, it's fine. It's just, we're we're like a little family over here. So if we don't hear, like, if you're gonna miss a live,
Yeah,
that's totally fine. You can do that. Just go ahead and message me or message somebody so we don't
yeah,
worry. Because the first thing me and Josh thought, like, oh man, let me make sure everything's okay with her because
yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
hear
I really
anything from
appreciate
you.
it.
So that
Yeah,
that's why I called to check on you yesterday. I just want to make
yeah.
sure you're okay.
Dr. Smith, say something so we can hear you. Can you hear me, Dr. Smith?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I could hear you. You were coming and going. You weren't as strong as you normally are.
I know what the problem is. Hang on, I will be right back.
Okay. Same
You hear-
with you, Travis. You're coming and going too. Samantha's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why mine keeps doing that. What should I do? Should I sign off and come back or what?
I don't know. Let's see what happens with Dr. Smith. I hate to waste the time with signing off and signing on.
And
But Samantha
honestly,
and
Can you
I
hear
are
Dr.
me better?
here.
B,
We can
Can you hear
carry
me?
on. What?
honestly, I can hear them fine on my end, so it might be your computer.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah.
I hear Samantha perfectly. And I have my sound all the way up, so I don't know.
Can you hear? Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear everybody.
What about you, Doug?
Okay.
Dr. Smith? Dr. Smith, can you hear
See,
me?
my problem is I left my laptop charger in my car that's in the shop, so I don't have my
Ah,
laptop until I get it out.
gotcha. Dr. Smith, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you, B. You hear me?
Okay. You're stronger there.
Okay. Okay. All right. When I hit the deer, everything in the car went flying, and the phone went flying also, and I didn't realize it, but it actually changed some of the settings. It hit so hard, but I got all the settings back to where they're supposed to be.
Well, you're nice and clear now, nice and loud.
My apologies. I should have checked the settings before I dialed in today.
Well, that's okay. You did hear that Samantha's son, he's 10 years old, is in the hospital with pneumonia.
Uh, no, I did not. Sam, you know any details? Viral pneumonia, bacterial pneumonia, community-acquired pneumonia?
I'm not
You know?
sure. I'm sure it's viral. He's been sick for a couple of weeks now and just didn't get over it. Um, and he's not very vocal because he's autistic, so it's very hard for him to explain, kind of what's going on with him. So a lot of that is one reason is, well, the main reason why I want this to work out so well, because I feel like, I have another child and she's doesn't have anything wrong with her. And when he came along, autism is something that they don't know why it's there. They don't know why kids get it, or they don't know why the diagnosis is. So I feel like, maybe this has something to do with that. And, it
Sam,
breaks my heart every day to see him going through what he's going through. And then especially now, like when he gets sick, he can't vocalize to anybody what exactly is wrong. So, it's really difficult for him right now.
Wow.
Sam, let me
so he's
let me
got.
let me just let me warn you. The the probability of you getting a conclusive answer to your question. Your question is everyone's question. It's very as the DNA test will prove to you that the genetic damage has been done to you. This means that
Mhm.
for many people, this genetic damage was passed down to their children. Your
Right.
question is going to be: is that genetic damage related to the autism? And Sam, let me just tell you right up front, you're not
Who
going to get an
knows?
answer.
I
You're not going
know.
to, and there's two reasons, Sam. One is it's going to be a very difficult answer to get in the short run, and the other reason is, Sam, think of it from the perspective of if it was true, which it may be, but if it was true, the financial impact that's going to have on these companies, they're going to deny it
for decades, even if it's
Oh yeah.
true.
Yeah. I
So
mean, and I'm
Sam,
not saying it is. It may not be, you know, I wouldn't at all blame that exactly, you know, because I'm sure there's people that has autistic children that never done an opiate. You know, I'm sure of that. It's something that crosses my mind because, you know, I feel like I'm at rock bottom with him sometimes when I don't know what he wants or he's crying to me and I can't help him. You know, I mean, that crosses my mind, of course, but it's really difficult with it, you know.
Sam, your success is in raising the question, not in answering the question. Your role, your success, what makes you a hero here, what makes you a hero, Sam, is not that you're answering the question. I know you want the answer, but that's not realistic, Sam. What makes you a hero, Sam, is that you are the first person to ever raise the question.
Well, I will tell you, I'm just going to add my 2 cents in here. There's a disproportionate amount of people that I am noticing whose children do have autism, which I have never found before, that many people in a small group that we are taking care of at this point. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's not. I have a great grandchild that's autistic. He's level 5. He cannot communicate with us. He's still in diapers. He's 7 years old. And there's opioids in his family. So I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you there are more people coming up with autism that I'm talking to in their family. And I'm not saying it's coming from the opioids. I'm just saying
Hmm.
there's just a lot more that I've noticed than before.
And Dr. B, my sister's daughter, remember I told you when you told me about your grandson when we had lunch, I told you about my sister's daughter, Callie.
Yep.
She has severe autism as well. Now she can say a few words, but she also wears a diaper. And my sister was also on opioids, and unfortunately, I believe she still is to this day because she never broke away from it. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there too. That my sister's daughter also has it. I don't know if it's connected, but that does seem pretty odd that everybody that had been on opioids have children with autism. So I find that intriguing.
I do
You
too.
see what
'Cause
I
I never
mean,
knew
Dr.
any of
Smith?
this.
You see what I mean, Dr. Smith? It just look at you've got 4 people on. You got
Sure seems
Chrissy,
coincidental.
and yeah, it's awful coincidence.
And that is what is known scientifically as what's called anecdotal evidence. And I agree with all of you. Anecdotal evidence can feel like very powerful evidence, but as people of science, we cannot do what the other side did. We got here because the other side stopped following the rules of science. That's partly how we got here. The other side felt that their opinions held more sway than science. We must uphold the principles of science. And while we can discuss anecdotal evidence, we must state that it is anecdotal, and that the proper studies, the proper clinical trials, are going to have to be done. And this is why I really want to emphasize to all of you, Sam in particular, that your success is not in getting to the answer. Your success is in raising the question. And that makes you a pioneer, Sam. You're really the first person I ever heard ask this question. I remember the first time you said it because I'd never heard it before. And since we're the ones that developed the DNA test, we can pretty well guarantee you, Sam, that you were the first person that ever raised that question. You own that question. That makes you a lamplighter. That makes you a pathfinder. That makes you a hero. There are hundreds of thousands of other people out there who they don't even know that question is going to become a part of their life yet. And yet you were the one that raised it. And Sam, I just want you, for the rest of your life, I just want you to recognize that you are a hero. Now, we often refer to Travis as the hero because he got his blood drawn. He was He was the first person that really ever got his blood drawn and his DNA run. He
Mhm.
I
volunteered
think
for that.
all of us, I think all of us are the heroes, not just me. I appreciate when you guys say that, but I want to reiterate that I feel like all of us here are heroes. Everyone involved in the DNA test, everyone that's involved with the slob right now, it's not about me. It's bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
That's just how I
I,
feel.
I just don't want Sam tearing herself apart trying to get to the answer and not seeing the forest for the trees. Sam,
Yeah.
you, if we're lucky, we'll all be alive when we get the answer. Okay,
Right.
no guarantee on that, but Sam, what is for sure is you were the first person to ever raise that question, and in my mind, that makes you a very special person and a hero. So we're proud to know you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sam, it might take another 60 years for them to even start to research it. From what
Right.
we've
Now
seen.
we're moving into the realm of sarcasm here, Travis. By the way, Sam, Travis, Sam, can you see the screen? Okay.
I can.
Do you see that article sitting there?
Uh-huh.
Travis, point out why you said 60 years, why your joke is well, or why your what I'm going to label as a semi sarcastic comment, why it's actually accurate.
Well, Sam, if you look at the very bottom, and I'm having a hard time seeing it today for some reason, but if you look at the bottom, it should say 1960
Hmm.
somewhere
I
at the bottom.
agree.
It's underneath, the
Yeah.
problem is it's underneath the article.
Yep, and I can't see it today.
All right, now we just moved into the article. We only have about less than 10 minutes left. Okay, this is where we wanted to get to yesterday. So in
Okay.
the 5 minutes here, hang on here, Sam. You weren't with us yesterday, so just hang on and stay with us for the ride, okay?
Okay.
All right, Travis. Travis, this is what I wanted to do
Okay.
yesterday. We
Okay.
and we've had a lot of trouble with connections. And can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But let's get to
Yes.
the meat. Let's get to the meat of what we had. All right. So Travis, in the
Okay.
interest of time, I'm going to help read this to you.
Okay.
This is the beginning of the chapter, introduction.
Okay.
It is an old clinical observation that morphine addicts can withstand large amounts of the drug without showing, is that complications?
That looks like conspicuous.
Without showing
Man-
conspicuous manifestations.
Yep. A
Can
physical
you
or
read,
mental.
Travis?
Yeah.
It's a little small on my screen.
Physical or mental altercations. With withdrawal of morphine, however, per, is that participates to
Precipitates.
characteristics. Yeah, participates characteristics abstinence syndrome, which shows many features. I can't see that word.
Indicative of a gross disturbance of the autonomic nervous system. All right,
Yeah, I
let's hold
couldn't
right
see
there.
either. It's real small.
Let's hold right there. We just have a few minutes left. All right, Travis,
All right.
what this guy's saying way back in 1963, he makes a comment there about basically about tolerance, right?
Hmm.
Morphine addicts can withstand large amounts of the drug.
And this
Yeah.
was made in 1963.
Right. And what he's saying there is uh, uh, you first develop a tolerance. You can take a large amount of the drug. And Travis, that happened to you, right?
Yes, sir.
And Samantha, that happened to you also, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what you guys have learned in your real life experience, this guy was talking about clinically in 1963, right?
Hmm.
And then he goes on to say that that once you develop withdrawal, once you develop a tolerance, if you suddenly stop the medicine, you get sick. And that's what you guys found out, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Dr.
Once
Smith.
you develop that tolerance, when you tried to stop taking the opioids, you got sick. And what this guy is saying way back in 1963 is, hey, we've observed that once you develop a tolerance and then you try to stop the opioids, you get sick. And that sickness is a gross disturbance of the autonomic nervous system. Now, let's stop and think about this for a minute. This guy's saying if you take the drug long enough, you get a tolerance. Then when you try and stop, you get sick. And that sickness is a gross disturbance within the autonomic nervous system. In other words, a gross disturbance to the nervous system. In other words, a sickness of the nervous system. Now,
Mhm.
this is where we got caught on the concept of common sense. Okay, this is where, Sam, what we were doing was we were asking people to imagine you were at the FDA and you were looking at this science right here, and you saw that the opioids were strongly related to a major dysfunction in the nervous system. That's what this says right here. The opioids are related to a major dysfunction in the nervous system. Sam, is there any way in heck that you would give a thumbs up approval for a drug that is known to cause a major dysfunction in the nervous system?
I mean, I couldn't and be okay with it.
No, you couldn't. Not
I
if you
mean,
were
if
going to
I've got any
right.
half of mine,
Right. So, Sam, common sense. Travis, common sense. This is 1963. And what
Wow.
this guy is describing, you lived through. This guy's basically saying if you approve this drug for mass
this is what
consumption,
you're going to make people live through.
thank you. Say it again, Sam.
This is what you're going to make people live through if you approve
Right.
these drugs.
And it's right there in front of you in black and white from 1963. And so, Sam, the question is, when you read that and you begin to comprehend what it's actually saying to you, and you begin to realize this whole thing was avoidable, and that they knew in 1963 if you approve this drug, you're going to poison people's body, and their nervous system is not going to function normally, and that will be manifested as a sickness when they try to stop. Sam, when you see that this whole thing was avoidable, do you get angry?
Yeah, I'm pretty mad right now. I don't know if my face is turning red, but I'm pretty upset about it. Yeah, I'm pretty upset.
Yeah,
Travis?
it's almost enough to make you go berserk, not just angry, because you sit here and you think, for 60 years they've known this. For 60 years they've allowed people to go through this. For 60 years they've allowed people to die from this, and they had the science pretty much the whole time. They knew what was going on, and the only thing that comes to mind is why they would allow this to go out into mass population when
Greed.
they knew what was going to happen. It all amounts to one thing to me, and that's money. Back to the money thing.
Greed and money, yeah.
There's no other way they would allow this. I mean, 60 years of people dying, 60 years of people coming dependent on this stuff, 60 years of people, families breaking apart. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I cannot believe that they would allow. I mean, 60 years they've had this evidence. They've had this science. They knew what was going to happen, and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they did. They approved the
No,
opioid.
Yeah, they made more money.
I forgot
Yeah.
they did that. They approved. They made sure they approved it, but it should not have been approved. It should have never been approved. They should have did more studying back then in 1963. They should have did more tests. They should have ran some more. They should not have just put it out in there. Okay, well, this is what happens. Let's put it out there anyways.
How did they do it?
We were
I
guinea
have to
pigs.
say I cheated, and I looked at the next paragraph. In 1938, they developed a quantitative scoring method for the autonomic system. That's the system that's what we have. That's 1938, guys.
I took our questions from the 1938 survey.
Now, what do you think of that? 1938, they had questions that would show your craving of an opioid.
That's pretty much sickening. I mean, at this point, that's what it is. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing that this was allowed. It's almost enough to make you sit and wonder, what the heck, guys? Like, why did y'all really do this? Was money really worth all these lives? Was whatever y'all did this for worth all the families that have been destroyed, all the people that have lost their lives, everybody that's went through what they've went through? I mean, most of the people that have taken opioids have lost everything. So I just think of all the millions of people that have gone through this. I mean, since you're telling me since 1938.
Do you realize how much more at, at fault they are than
Well, and it had
what
to be
is
before
done?
that because somebody had to start it
Right.
Yeah,
before
yeah,
1938. There had to be some reason why they wanted to do,
that's right.
why.
You're exactly right, Samantha. Exactly right. I don't know, it makes me pretty angry.
Wow.
38 to 19. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So if they
38
came
to
out,
2000
if
and
they came out in
2000 to
38,
2020. Oh my God, 23. Oh, look at the number of years. Wow. Why didn't the the FDA catch this? Why
We did.
didn't Aunt Santa catch it? Why didn't
Or
anybody
did
catch
they?
it?
Or
Or
did
did
they?
they? You're
oh,
right.
they
Sam's
Or
going to
knew.
be
did they?
tomorrow.
Pardon me?
Are you going to be here with us tomorrow?
I will.
Okay, because we'd really like to continue this dialogue with you.
Yes, I'll be here.
Well, there's Chrissy with her little smiling face like a little cherub there.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to listen to all sides of the story. Absolutely. And we will continue this. So uh, let's see y'all back tomorrow and every Monday through Thursday, 12:30 to 1, Live Talk with Dr. B. Y'all have a blessed day.
All I can say before we sign off is, boy, do we have a lot to take to a class action lawsuit, starting now from 1938. Goodbye,
This
everybody.
is
Thank you.
sorry.